If you smell what the rock is cooking. The rock says, the rock says. The rock says, the rock. They talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see him.
think you could tell us what to do? You think you could tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down! Degenerate into something cool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a break, boy. Yeah, that's a break, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. You think you can tell me what to do?
Yesterday's too long ago. Don't agree with what I know. Tomorrow got no place to be. I see the line in the sand. Time to find out who I am. Behold the King of Kings. On your knees, dog. All hail. Bow down to the King. Bow down to the King in red as he walked from the place. where the traitor lost both his name and his face. Through the halls and the corridors, stinking in blood, he tasted his grin, and it tasted good. The king took his head, left him broken and dead.
1, 2, is this on? Yo, Jimmy, hit me with that Triple H. Girl, you let the music keep playing, Mr. Don. Yo, tell me whose time it is now. You don't know what's happening. Yo, you come from not gonna listen to anybody. Tell me who and what to be. Not trying to be like everybody. Time to play with make believe. 'Cause I need the blind, the blind, the blind. Lost life, lost life, lost time this time. Lost life, lost time, lost time.
Time to play the game. Time to play the game. It's all about the game and how you play it. All about control. And if you can take it, all about your debt. And if you can pay it, it's all about pain. And who's gonna make it? I am the game. You don't wanna play me. I am control. No way you can shake me. I am heavy debt. No way you can pay me. I am the pain, and I know you can't take me. Look over your shoulder, ready to run like a Cleveland bitch from a smoking.
Game over.
Hello and welcome to a special edition of the WWE Wrestling Talk Show with Wasteful Actions and
Sean Rennie Snippets will give you our thank yous to the King of Kings, the game, Triple H, who recently retired at the age of 52.
probably not the way he wanted to go out, but this was brought on by a cardiac scare he had last September.
Yes, which nearly claimed his life.
So we shall now go through some clear highlights of the King of Kings, cerebral assassin, occasionally a quality dickhead.
The list goes on, and trust me, there is a lot of stuff we need to get through.
First of all, let's rewind to when he first started to train and got into the business in 1990.
Yes, where he would train very hard.
And wrestled on the independent circuit until 1993, just so happened to be my year of birth.
Yes.
Then he got a 1-year contract in 1994 for a little known company called WCW.
WCW.
And in its first televised match, he debuted as a heel under the ring name Terrorizing.
Yes, you heard it right. Terrorizing, defeating Keith Cole in his first match.
He was then later repackaged or renamed with a play on his real life name,
Yes,
Jean Paul Levesque.
which is his name going forward.
But for some bizarre reason, they just tried to turn him French.
very bizarre turn of events.
This is when he would start using a well-known maneuver called the pedigree.
Yes, it would end up being his finisher going forward.
He would briefly team up with someone by the name of Lord Stephen Legal, more commonly known as William Legal.
And the two would have a successful partnership.
However, this would cut short due to a conversation with Vincent Kennedy McMahon,
Oh, yes.
in
The
which
rest, they say, is history.
he would jump ship to the WWE/F at the time,
Or F, as it was known back then.
and would debut as not Triple H,
No.
although still the three H's which are in his name, the Blue Blood Hunter Hearst Helmsley, which is what Triple H actually stands for.
Yes, true. Very, very true about that fact.
It would, how do I say this? It wouldn't take long for him to pick up his first championship, being
No.
the Intercontinental Championship, which he won from
Which he won
on an
from a
episode.
wrestler known as
Mark Malero on an episode of Raw, to be precise, the 21st of October 1996,
Yes.
and would lose it to a little-known superstar called Rocky Maivia.
Otherwise known as my colleague. Those two would have later rivalry in the coming years.
From between the years of 1996 and 2003, and I'm skipping a lot here,
Of course.
but he would go on to have several more Intercontinental Championship reigns. One by defeating The Rock at the 1998 SummerSlam in a ladder match.
Yes.
One by defeating Chris Jericho.
Yeah.
One by defeating Jeff Hardy. And then, for some bizarre reason, in 2002, Mr. Eric Bischoff decided to unify the Intercontinental Championship with the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yes. It was a very weird call.
Obviously, that did not last.
No.
Then we go back to 1996/7. There was a little bit of an incident at this time at a house show in, I think it was Madison Square Garden.
Yes. Known as the curtain call.
Yes. There was a group of friends by the name of Shawn Michaels,
Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Now, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash and Shawn Michaels all escaped punishment. One,
well,
because
this
Scott
is the
Hall
thing.
was
You're skipping over the details there.
Oh, yes.
Scott Hall, rest in peace,
Yes, rest in peace.
and Kevin Nash were jumping ship to WCW.
They would escape punishment
There, Shawn Michaels couldn't really be punished because he was WWE champion at the time.
And he was one of the top guys.
So the burden fell on Triple H. And this punishment was that year he was supposed to win King of the Ring.
Yes.
That instead went to Stone Cold and in effect created what has been known for years as Austin 316.
Absolutely.
But we go back to 1997 and the evolution, no pun intended.
Not at all.
During this time, we would see the original version of a little known group called D-Generation X.
Which started out as being Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and the ninth wonder of the world, God rest her soul, China.
As in, during this period as well, due to the leading up to the Montreal Screwjob, which for the purposes of this video we'll gloss over,
Yes, we will.
Shawn Michaels found himself as European Champion and WWE Champion. So, Michaels was ordered to defend the European Championship and lay down for Triple H.
And the question is, did he do it?
Yep,
He did do it, so that is definitely a yes.
and Triple H would go on to lose the championship to Owen Hart. Again, rest in
God rest his
peace.
soul.
Only to win the championship back in an impromptu match that was originally scheduled to take place at WrestleMania 24 years ago, which would have been WrestleMania 14.
Yes.
Uh, the original version of DX kind of came to an end here
Yes, it did.
when
Unfortunately.
Shawn Michaels suffered an injury and then lost the title to Austin. And Triple H would be a bit, well, I wouldn't say would be inactive, but wouldn't really do anything significant a year of 98.
No, wasn't really doing anything, let's be honest.
He wouldn't really do anything until SummerSlam of 1999. Well, for Raw after SummerSlam of 99, I should say. When he won his first WWE Championship from someone he would have a rivalry with by the name of Mankind, aka
Mick Foley, aka Cactus Jack, aka Dude Love.
during this period as well. Triple H was involved in a storyline feud with Vince McMahon.
Yes.
Um,
This would be one of his most memorable feuds that he would have in his career.
and
But there were more to come along the way.
and would lose the championship to him on an episode of SmackDown with a little bit of help from Stone Cold, and we're getting back to what happened between these two in a while.
Yes.
Of course, as Vince had his own issue with Austin about not being a in-ring competitor. He vacated the championship, which set up a six-pack challenge at Unforgiven of that year, which would be Triple H's second WWE Championship victory. And we go to Survivor Series 1999,
Oh, yes.
in
Where we
which Triple H decided it would be a good idea to do attempted murder.
Yep, absolutely. Yes, completely legal.
Whilst running over, well, I say running over, Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yes, Rikishi was the one driving the car, but as we found out a year later, it was pretty much Triple H behind the whole ordeal.
Whole scheme.
However, that night, Triple H would lose the WWE Championship to the Big Show, who was Austin's replacement in a triple threat match featuring The Rock.
Yes, my broadcast partner.
Triple H would win the championship back on the January 3rd episode of Raw. Then we would go into a bit of a tricky situation because Stephanie, who Alama get in 99, aligned herself with Triple H.
She did. The Universal Attendant.
Would be aligned with Triple H. Shane McMahon at the time would align himself with a Big Show. And whilst Triple H was defending the WWE Championship against Cactus Jack at the Royal Rumble,
Yeah.
Big Show and The Rock were the final two in that year's Royal Rumble match, which ended in a bit of controversy.
Oh, yes, it did.
So there was a whole deal set up there. Big Show won the match. Big Show took their title. Rock won the match. Big Show's feet didn't hit first. They did a match at No Way Out. Rock was screwed by Shane. Next night, Vince McMahon comes back, helps Rock get the title opportunity back. Then it's turned into a triple threat. Then it's turned into a fatal four-way elimination with McMahon in each corner. At WrestleMania 2000, aka WrestleMania 16, Vince turned heel, effectively creating the McMahon-Helmsley faction,
Yeah.
costing the Rock the title. Then at Backlash, despite the best efforts of the McMahon-Helmsley regime, and with a bit of interference from Stone Cold, The Rock would win the championship.
Yes.
Triple H would then win his fourth championship at Judgment Day in an Iron Man match, only to lose it to The Rock again at King of the Ring in a six-man tag team match, which had a very interesting stipulation.
And that stipulation was?
That if any member of the McMahon-Helmsley faction was pinned, the person who pinned him would become the WWE champion. The Rock would end up pinning Vince McMahon. For the later part of 2000, effectively SummerSlam and Unforgiven, I think. Triple H would enter into a mini little program with Kurt Angle.
Where things would be a little bit more. How do we say this? Interesting.
Yes. But then, once Austin came back, things got even more interesting.
It did. Pretty much did.
Because then we had a lot to unpack. It was revealed that Triple H was the mastermind behind Austin being run over. Austin and Triple H would get involved in each other's matches, cost each other the WWE Championship on several occasions. Most noticeably at the 2001 Royal Rumble, which resulted with Austin costing Triple H the match, and then Triple H attacking Austin from behind as he's walking to the ring for the Royal Rumble match. At No Way Out, they would do two out of 3 falls, in which Triple H won 2 straight falls. However, this would be the start of a little group that we will get to shortly.
Yes.
Because Triple H took a little detour to the first of 3 matches at WrestleMania with The Undertaker.
Yes. And his first match with Undertaker was actually quite a good one.
Following WrestleMania and the heel turn of Stone Cold in Houston,
Yes.
Triple H and Austin would form a 2-man power trip. This is a time where some of Triple H's Intercontinental title reigns would come back. But then they would jump into the tag team division and beat the Brothers of Destruction for the tag team titles. But just as things were getting started or beginning to heat up, disaster strikes.
Yes, literally.
As Triple H suffered his first of 2 quadricep injuries.
Where his quadricep muscle would tear literally off the bone, forcing him to literally have one leg.
But he did finish the match.
He did in a losing tag team championship effort.
To Chris Jericho and Chris.
Anyway, sorry about that. I might just cut out.
So we fast forward past the invasion angle and everything. January of 2002, Triple H returns, wins the Royal Rumble, but at this point of action, Stephanie's has basically turned on him.
And aligning yourself with, I believe it was Kurt Angle or Chris Jericho?
Both.
Both.
But despite their best efforts, Triple H would walk away as champion from WrestleMania 18, only to lose the title to returning Hulk Hogan.
Then?
After losing the title to Hulk Hogan, he had like one rematch with The Undertaker at King of the Ring. Then he would start going into SummerSlam, or would effectively turn into a 2-year feud.
And we do mean 2 years.
as Shawn Michaels came back.
Yes, from his supposed retirement.
This started with a unsanctioned match at SummerSlam. Then Triple H was awarded the World Heavyweight Championship.
By default by the Raw General Manager, Eric Bischoff.
Shawn Michaels would take it from him in the first ever Elimination Chamber match.
Yeah.
Triple H would take it back in 3 Stages of Hell and Armageddon before losing to Goldberg.
And then Triple H would win the title back again.
Yes, and then we had if memory serves me correctly, a last man standing match that ended in a no contest. Then we have to bring up he who must not be named again for the famous triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Yes. Where he would lose twice.
Constant number of times throughout early 2004 he would attempt to win back the world title with the help of his newly found group in 2003 by the name of Evolution.
Which consisted of Ric Flair, myself, and Batista.
Well, you were kicked out of the group at SummerSlam having won the world title.
Made me the youngest world champion in history, and then that started a feud between myself and Triple H over the world championship.
And Triple H would take it back. Then, after vacating the title due to a double pinfall, Triple H would win it back at New Year's Revolution inside Elimination Chamber in 2005. But then we had a bit of a problem with Batista winning the Royal Rumble.
Batista was presented with contracts of Raw and SmackDown, and in the end, he looked at the SmackDown contract, did the thumbs down, left Evolution, and powerbombed Triple H to the table, challenging him for the World Championship at WrestleMania.
Which he would win, and that would effectively be the last time that Triple H would hold the World Heavyweight Championship. And actually the last world title that Triple H would hold for 3 years?
Something like that.
2 years? Something. Because after the feud with Batista, Triple H disappeared for a couple of months.
Yeah.
Then did a short program with Ric Flair.
Yes, he did. At one point, the two were best friends until Triple H blooded him and hit him in the face with a sledgehammer.
Then in 2006, Triple H had a match for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania and got dragged into the whole situation in which Vince McMahon had a vendetta against Shawn Michaels.
Effectively reuniting DX for the second time.
DX would go through the McMahons, the Spirit Squad, Big Show, Umaga, but sadly, due to a little team called Rated RKO,
of myself and Edge.
this would be where Triple H would suffer a second quad injury.
Yes, effectively ruling him out for some time to come.
Then, round about SummerSlam time of 2007, King Booker was acting like a loyal asshole.
Yeah, sorry for the language, by the way.
So the King of Kings would come back and teach him a lesson.
and show him who the real king was.
Well, then we had a bit of a issue with, because at this point Randy Orton was WWE Champion, or had been awarded the WWE Championship because of John Cena being injured.
So what does Triple H go and do? He decides to go after my championship.
Goads Mr. McMahon into giving him a championship match on the same night. Defends the championship twice on one night, once against Umaga, which was his scheduled match to start off with, and then in the last man standing match, not last man standing match, but another match with Randy Orton.
In a Judgment Day, he would retain the championship being last man standing.
The age of Orton would carry on until Backlash when Triple H would win the championship. Then we had two matches at Judgment Day and Extreme Rules. Orton was injured in at the last man standing match in Extreme Rules.
Breaking my collarbone, so I was effectively ruled out and then reviewed that.
During this period of time, Triple H would transfer from Raw to SmackDown.
In the process of making the WWE Championship exclusive to SmackDown at the time.
Then in another situation with a last-minute replacement in a triple threat match at Survivor Series, Triple H was scheduled to defend the WWE Championship against Vladimir Kozlov and Jeff Hardy.
But Hardy was kept out of the match after a scripted attack and injury.
And so, SmackDown General Manager Vicky Guerrero would put Edge in this match.
And thus Edge would win the match.
Triple H's 8th reign as WWE Champion and 13th overall would come at No Way Out in the Elimination Chamber when he would win the title back. However, during this period, Randy Orton would decide to attack the McMahons.
Yes. First, I punt kick Shane in the head, and punt kick Vince in the head as well, and then gave Vince an arcade up.
Yes, which would cause Triple H to once again attempt to break the law with a home invasion.
Yes, of course, where they ruled in my house and sent me through a window. Ouch.
Now, despite this, Triple H successfully defended the title at WrestleMania, only to lose it in another 6-man tag team match at Backlash with similar rules to the one at King of the Ring, in which Legacy took on the team of Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, and Triple H. No, Triple H, Batista, and Shane McMahon, who had his own issues with Orton.
And obviously,
Then, going into the summer of 2009, Triple H continued to have problems with Legacy.
So, what does he go and do? He decides to go and rejoin with Shawn Michaels.
And again, at this point, the pair become tag team champions at the TLC pay-per-view by defeating Jericho. However, due to Shawn Michaels' obsession with The Undertaker from the last WrestleMania, which was Match of the Year,
It was, at the time.
Shawn Michaels would effectively lose the tag team titles for DX and force Undertaker into a streak versus career match at WrestleMania. Whilst Triple H would move on and have a few issues with a certain Irishman.
By the name of Sheamus, who unfortunately put him on the shelf for at least 10 months.
Yes, and then we go to early 2011. The Undertaker versus Triple H. Round 2, 10 years after round 1.
And at WrestleMania, Triple H would lose, extending the Undertaker's streak to 19-0, whilst Triple H left with an accord. Undertaker was carried away on a stretcher.
Yeah, so then Triple H would have a few problems in 2011 because this is when he started to transition from a full-time in-ring competitor to a authority figure.
Yes, because on this memorable episode, on July 18th of that year, Vince McMahon was relieved of his duties.
Yes, then we had Triple H come in, problems with The Miz and R-Truth. The entire locker room would walk out on him with a vote of no confidence. Then he would have issues at the same time with a certain individual called CM Punk.
Yeah.
This would then go into even more issues with Kevin Nash,
His longtime friend.
who decided that Triple H should offer him a contract, and when he refused, he took it personally. And then we get to one of the only points, one of 2 points I should say, in which I have been annoyed to hear The Undertaker's gone.
Yes, because Triple H would come back on the January 30th episode in 2012 to evaluate Laurinaitis' performance as general manager. He was about to announce a decision until gone.
Which would signal Triple H and The Undertaker WrestleMania Round 3, end of an era, and let's ramp it up a bit. Let's make it Hell in a Cell, and let's put Shawn Michaels as a guest referee.
And despite those odds, Triple H would still lose.
Yes, The Undertaker would go 20-0 at WrestleMania. Now, from here we will continue this last 10 years on and off in a moment after a quick break. Had a feeling